Hi, welcome to Robojax. In this video, I'm going to introduce with all the steps of SSD1306 display module. This is a 128 pixel by 64 pixel module that you can display text, you can draw graphics, lines, triangle, rectangular, circle, and you can move them. How to draw a circle, how to draw a line, how to draw a rectangle, around the text. Also, you can have a text and also text inside the two triangle. So this is the module. As you can see, this is the size. This is I2C, which means the communication protocol that this one is using only 2 wire here. So we have 4 connections here. On the back side, there are some components that you can see and view them. So let me disconnect it here. So we have 4 connections here. So VCC and ground. So these all will be connected. This can work up to 5 volts to 3.3 to 5 volts. That's also fine. We have SCL and SDA. This SCL is a clock, and then this is a data. And then this SCL will be connected to A5, and SDA, the data, will be connected to A4. Here the connection here. So VCC ground, SCL and SDA. SCL, the second one is clock goes to pin 5, and then the data goes to 4, the yellow. And then the VCC goes to 5 volts. I've connected it now to 3.3 volts. And then it can go to the ground. In both cases, this will work. Now let's have a look at the code. So the library will be provided on our website, robojax.com/learn/Arduino. Also, the link will be provided to this page at GitHub. So once you landed in this page, just click on download, and get it. So I'm saving it in my download on Arduino. So existing doesn't matter. So go to where you downloaded. This is I've downloaded. Right click. Go to 7-zip. 7-zip is a free software. You can get it from 7zip.org website, and then select extract here. Once you do that, you will have a folder like this, Adafruit SSD1306 master. Then we need to copy this into our Arduino library. Right click, copy it, and then go to wherever you have Arduino is installed. In some cases, you might be looking at here, program files, or wherever you have that. So once you go to the installed folder, in my case it's here, and so you will see something like this. This is a program that you run, the .exe, and then look at the library, and somewhere here right click and then paste it. Once you paste, you will see it here. This is done. Now we can go and open our Arduino IDE. File, example, and then Adafruit SSD1306, and here we select 128 by 64 I2C. This is the board that I use. Because the type is now, this is I2C, not SPI, so I can delete that. It will work, but I'm going to leave it for now. This is the wire that does the I2C connection header. So these are all included. You need that. This is for the drawing and other stuff from Adafruit. And this is the main library that does the tasks of drawing, writing, text, and all those. So these are the values that you do not play with. You do not touch it. I'm not going to waste time on those. You do not touch this. And then here is the value that you need to change. For this module that I'm using, at the top is one color, the bottom is another color. So this can be single color or multiple color, but the color doesn't make any difference because it's the liquid crystal that they use different colors, so it doesn't matter. So as long as it's a single color, it's the same, but the RGB is different. So this code will work even if you buy white, yellow, and this one is yellow and blue. So 2 color doesn't matter. So for this one, the address is A03C. So the address that you type A03C. They have other suggestions for this, but this was, in my case, it was 3C. So you have to play with this, either this value or this value. One of them will work. The word display dot begin, and it begins with the module with the I2C address, so that it starts. And the important function here is display, which we put the object display dot display. If you don't put the display, the text or whatever you have will not be displayed. So, and then this method clear display will clear the screen. Draw pixel. So how it works is this 10 means this is the X location and that's the Y. And the screen starts here X from this left to right, so it goes from 0 to 127, so 128 dots, and Y is from 0 to 63, which is 64, so 128 by 64. So any X, when you see here 10, it draws a pixel, draw pixel, it goes at the location 10X and then 10Y, so it will draw a dot here. So you have to set 3 important parameters for the display to work. The first one is the size, which is 128 by 64, which I'm going to show you. The second one is the I2C address. That's very important, otherwise you will never be able to see any text. And the third one is modification of the size in the library that is connected, because it's unfortunately not set, it will not detect it. You have to set those up. So let me show you these two, and then the second one is the address that it must match for the I2C communication, and the third one is that you go. So the third one is just find out where your Arduino is installed, where you put the code inside the library. So go to that and go to the Adafruit master, and here is the file that you need to change, SSD1306H. Right click. So right click, open it with edit. I've already set this to open with Notepad++. If you have Notepad++, just open it. So just scroll down more and more until you reach around line 70 or 73. So these are the 3 that are for different sizes. So 128 by 64, 128, 32, 196, 16. Because I'm using 128, 64, just uncomment this one. So initially it was like this. So this was now set. Because mine is 64, I'm commenting this and then uncomment that one. So these will be useless. So this will be now active. So let me run the code, make sure that it works. So that's the dot. Okay, so when you type display dot display without anything, this will print the Adafruit main thing that you saw initially. So when the code runs, it draws this triangles and also another type of triangle with filled up line. It draws arrow with all those drawing inside it, circle filled up with circle, and also with the cornered rectangles, rounded rectangle, and this is now a triangle, and then it filled it up, and then shows all the characters, and then scroll the text. Triangle and then triangle again. You see here one triangle, another triangle, and then this is clearing it, and then draw character. So this draws all the character that is within the system, and then scroll text. Whatever you do after, if you have to say the display. If you don't do the display, it will not print. So I'm going to show you. And here display. These are the internal one that you can use without any extra effort. So for example, you say set text size equal 1. When you set it 1, that's the smallest one, and you can go 2, 3 or higher. And then here you set the color, the text of the color. So very important to mention here that the white, when you say, that is the color. If your display is white, yellow, blue, whatever, so that white means that color that you have. So even if it's blue, so you put white here. The white means the color. The black are these areas, so which has no color. And then the set cursor, it sets the position where to start, so at 0, 0, and then it prints hello world at that position with that size, with this color. This one is set the color with the 2 parameters, so this will invert it. So the first one is the text color, which is black, and then the white is the background color. So if you need to change the background, you set that, and print ln, that's the pi value, it will print, and then so forth. So it just plays with all of those, and inside loop there is nothing. So which means when this runs, the display stops at this and stays like that. Let me show you how you start customizing it for the purpose that you need. So the first thing is, just let's save this as, so I'm gonna name it test customize. I'm gonna open it here and then open the other one, the initially that I had. So this was the original one with all the values, and this is a customized. So the first thing, all these methods that are there, we will delete them all. Anything inside the setup, just below the begin, display.begin. So display, and that's delete everything. So inside the setup you will have only one line. These are the comment, doesn't matter, so with the address, and then you have the loop. Underneath we have a lot of methods that are there for us. So for now I'm not going to delete it, but I'm going to show you how you can print a text, how you can do some stuff here. Okay, let's, using this one, draw a circle that expands. So just copy this. I'm pressing Ctrl C. Go to the loop and then open, close, and close it. So test draw, it will use that method. You see add a fruit at the top exists. That's the reason, because I forgot to put the clear display, because when you open this method, it prints that backsplash from add a fruit. So let's put this code here. So the reason that we see this add a fruit stuff here is because this method by default prints that splash. So you have to set display, clear display, this method inside the setup, and then just wait 2 seconds, give it a little time. So let me upload it now. Now this should just draw the circle without this backsplash of other fruit. So to draw a rectangle, something like this, you just draw rectangle. So it will draw a rectangle. This is a for loop that draws rectangle that are getting smaller and smaller and smaller. The color, as I mentioned, don't worry, I'm not playing with the color. It's just the display built at the top portion to be always yellow. So don't worry, you will get either whatever color you have. This is a single color. To draw a triangle like this that is expanding, just use this method. To draw a circle which is already filled up, just use this method, draw a circle, and then clear display is always needed in the loop, so it clears the previous drawing. This is the code that you can print this text here, for example, Robojax. So to print it without any extra thing, I've deleted everything. So this, it says display.set text size. This is determining the size of the text here, which I'm going to show you next. The 1 would be small. The white is the color that is opposite the background. And then we set the cursor, this is X and this is Y. So X is 10 pixel from here, which is here. Now we go 10 pixel, and then 30 means from the top go 30. The whole height is from here to here is 64. So at this point, the corner of this is 30. So that is 10 and then 30. And then after that, we put the actual text, and then we say display. If we don't say display, it will be blank. So let me just change the color now, the text size to 1. So as you can see, the text has been got smaller. So to see the text with the background white and the color text, color of the text should be black. Just select black, the first parameter, that's the color of the text, and the white, if you set this, automatically will set the background white. If you don't set it, the background would be always black. So this code now, if you want to send two texts, just put the position of the cursor and then the text, and then the position of other cursor, second cursor for the second text. So very important to know that you need to have two different things, two different position of the cursor. But the display should be only once called. So here is the code that I have written for that one. So it's called Robojax text. So you pass the string and you pass that position X, Y, size, and then this boolean D is if the display should be printed immediately or it should wait. Sometimes you need it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use it now to show you how you can eliminate all this by just using this method here. So this code just says that print the word Robojax at the position X equal 2. So 2 pixels to the right and then 1 pixel from the bottom. So that is Y, and then the size of the text is 2, and then true means print the display. So now if I have another text, I just as you can see here now, because I forgot to change the text, it just prints it exactly at the same position, the Robojax and the YouTube. So we have to find out the size of this one. The position X is good. I just need the Y to be changed. Let me put it at 16. So that's the exact size. So maybe this is 14 pixels or 15. So if I so that's it. So you can send another text and so forth. So as much as text as you wish, you just put. So in this example, I've printed the one word Robojax and then a line and then YouTube. As you can see here, Robojax, the first line has not changed, and then to display the line, I just say go to the position X and then Y is 16. So X, Y is 16, which means go down on Y. And then this is a method that you can use. This is an internal method that display.width would give you always the width -1 because we set it as 64 pixel. The width is 64, so we have to say -1. So it is displayed on the screen. And then so this is the line starts with a 1 point, beginning point, and then the end point X and Y. So it starts at 0, 16, and then 64 and 16. So it goes 64 and then 16 down. So this means 63, 16, and 16, and the color is white. After that, we just type the word YouTube. Now, because this text is taking 15 pixels, so I started this at 16. So maybe this text is taking 14 because there is 1 pixel empty. And then we said, so 15 is empty, as you can see, in between those. And then we said from 16 start, this takes 1 pixel line. And then we left the 17 empty and then 18. So the next text starts from 18. And here, this is the final example that I'm going to show you here. So the first text prints value, and then inside the rectangle we are putting the voltage as 41 volts and the temperature at 32 degrees Celsius. So regardless what text you want, so this is the text, starts from X, Y, and the size X, Y, and 22. So because we are coming 22 pixels down, and then we put also a temperature. This is the text, the size is 1, starts from X4 and then Y is 45. So X is 4 and then Y is 45. It's way below, so this number will just put it up and down, and then the true is for displaying. And then here we say display line. The line has starting point and end point. So start is 137, that is 1, and then 37, that corner. And this is the line. Okay, so one corner and then 137. So this is one piece of line, and this is a rectangle. So the rectangle starts from 120, that's one corner, 120, and then ends the other corner. It goes to 100, so that is 100, and then X is 100, and then Y is 40. So because this was 20, so we went 40 here. So it's always diagonal, and that's the color. So this way you can print values that are based on some other parameters, or they're coming from somewhere else in an actual industrial design. You can use this to display those values. All the code for this project with the 3 examples that I did will be posted at robojax.com/learn/Arduino, which you can also click by clicking at the description below. So I will have also video for the SPI version, which has multiple connections, and that's faster, and also different type of displays. So please subscribe, and also please thumb up the video if you like it. Thank you for watching.